Hello, Dusties. I almost pressed the wrong button. I almost pressed the stop streaming button. Oops. I'm very smart. Clearly. Press the record button as well. Just press everything. But yeah, we're playing Tiny Bunny. So the ward can stay forever and eat up more of my CPU. I mean right now it's fine, so. Hi. Oh no, you can see why. Why can you see the sides of my YouTube studio? There you go. That's why. I no longer have the hermit life, so I decided that I'm gonna play this game and forget about my life. This is how we do it, right? We play games to forget about life. So that's what we gonna do. I've never touched this game before. I don't really know what it's about either. I just know that it's horror, and I'm in. The wind clawed at my window all night long. We wandered the fields and howled like a hungry beast. An endless song weaved from all sorts of voices. Shrill, gentle, sneery, twined in the air. Never seen it too? But you said Tiny Bunny. I thought you know the game. Do you know the game, or have you just never seen it? They were shouting and laughing, and arguing about something. Paul was running through the snow while casting long shadows that would occasionally creep close to my bed. Our house had a mind of its own, the creaky old mind of a building that had seen a lot in its days and was seemingly... Oh my god, I can't read and I've just started. Seemingly trying to share its wisdom with the inhabitants. The lonely house faced the forest, and the dark green thicket gazed back with its hollow eyes, rustling, whizzing, swaying back and forth. One could come out and stand at the edge of the forest to reassure themselves. There was nobody behind the crooked trees. Fuzzy silhouettes swaying in the wind couldn't possibly do any harm. It's just a play of light and shadow. Just a play. Is it just me, or is the model looking cuter? What? But I didn't do anything to the model. It's just you. It's just you. Hi, Cherry. You've seen the game art, I see. Welcome to the visual novel where I can't read. Cherry, you know this, that I can't read. I knew it was just my imagination. I was already 12, after all. 12? Still. The protagonist is a kid. Wait, that's a fox. The owl will arrive. Okay. Alright.
Убери книгу немедленно.
That's voice acting. But I don't understand the language. That's voice acting, but I don't understand the language. No. Pin. Hey, put away your book.
Сколько раз говорила, не читай за столом, вредно. Сидишь, сутулился весь.
By the way, is the sound, is the audio okay? Should I turn off? Should I turn off? Oh no, I clicked the wrong thing. It's Russian game? I can't understand Russian, I'm sorry, I'm just gonna read it. Also, how do I find a dialogue that I skipped? Is there no like chat log, or do I have to hide the book first? Hint, wait. Backlog, right. How many times have I told you not to read at the table? It's bad for your health. Look at how slouched you are. Why is it cut off right there? Why is it cut off right there? You have no clue. Oh, Syun doing Russia. I mean, the game looks fun. Hi, Tachan, by the way. The game looks great. Look at the art. Day of Hermit Life. Hi, doggo. Syun, you read Russian? I don't know a single word of Russian. But look at the art though. It's pretty. I didn't protest and put the book about Conan the Barbarian aside. I was stuck on a line I couldn't understand after reading it 3 times anyway. Okay. Olya had already finished her breakfast and was munching on some cookies. She was so enthusiastic, she almost looked like your typical girl from commercials. You have to go to sleep. Yeah, your time is like getting late. Good night, Cherry. Sleep well. Thank you for dropping by. Sleep well. You're not going anywhere until you finish all of it. I, on the other hand, was still trying to drill a hole in the plate with my eyes, as if it would make the porridge disappear. Hazy anxiousness welled up inside, all because of the previous sleepless night, the black forest around our house and the gloomy wind. The longer I waited, the colder the lumpy white substance became. It looked like a jellyfish from the Coastal? I think it's Coastal, I don't know. Odyssey, I love that show. I wonder how horrifying the bottom of the ocean is, or how cold the black forest is at night. Eat your porridge! Eat your porridge! The spoon fell out of my hand. Mom showered me with a cold glare from her green eyes. What did I just say? I'll get it! I had 10 seconds to catch my breath before battling the nasty porridge once again. I felt around for the spoon. What's this carved on the other side of the table? Karina. Ha! That's my mom's name! Harry lol. Good night, Harry. Oh no. Oh no. Harry. Cherry's name has been changed. I guess she carved it out with something pointy when she was little. She sure was a rascal, damaging the furniture like that. She would scold me for a week if I did something similar though. Should I remind her about it? No, she's been a bit of a bad mood lately. I imagined her being my age, sitting under this table. I wonder, was Mom afraid of the dark back then? Or the sounds coming from the attic? Or the thick forest? I imagined my grandma coming into my little mom's room, sitting at the edge of her bed where Olya sleeps nowadays, and saying this in her soft, smooth voice. Apparently the grandma has soft, smooth voice. I would like to have soft, smooth voice too, but I can't even read. Taiga is a special place, little girl. Little girl? You imagine your grandma calling your mom little girl? It's watching you closely, sniffing you out. Grandma, your look is kinda scaring me. Trying to discern what kind of beast you are. If you're a good sort, it won't abandon you in the times of trouble. But if you're a bad apple, it'll grab you by the side and drag you under the ground. And that would be it. Grandma was caring. She never fought with anybody, never yelled, never swore. Those were the times without the meddling screams until late at night, without smashed dishes and mutual accusations. Our parents used to love each other back then. I remember listening in on one of their conversations by chance. They were talking about Grandma getting prepared for her funeral. She had already bought a casket. What? This grandma is like, I ain't gonna burden my kids. And she called it her cute funeral box. Would you guys name your funeral caskets? if you ever buy one. It waited for its time in the closet, patiently. It was black, upholstered with meat-colored material on the inside. I saw it when my grandma was getting buried. The house didn't change since the time she was alive, only all of the photos were gone. Glass-covered pictures with grey faces of my ancestors. They all had a dead but watchful look in their eyes. I crawled out from under the bed table. I almost said under the bed. Where did the bed come from? Oya was done with her cookies and was looking at my share like a sly woodland critter. I turned my gaze towards the frosted window. There were a lot of dark pines outside, but they didn't grab my attention. The pattern of frost formed a picture on the glass. Oya, look, it's a fox. Where? It looked almost like those optical illusion thingies they put at the back of student notebooks. A mixture of lines at first glance, but if you blur your vision a little and look under a certain angle, not outside, on the window. Look, here's the nose, and here's... Hey, eat out! yes, just a moment. This is like the child brushing off the mom as always, right? I don't see anything. Hurry up, there's not much left. Ah, there it is. But it still doesn't look like one. And I'm telling you, it does. Nuh-uh. It does. Stop it, this kid, I swear. Come on, Mom. Now I couldn't see the fox either. It disappeared. Went away. Only the frosty patterns, similar to a stretched out nettle leaves, kept creeping up the glass. My dad entered the kitchen with long measured steps. I want to have a beard like his when I grow up. Mom would always ask jokingly, come on, shave it off, it stinks. This was so long ago. Nowadays, rumbling doors and witty comebacks were an everyday occurrence. Oya always covers her ears whenever she hears something like, what's the point in all this, through the wall. It's all for your sake, Dad will reply, for the sake of our family. I always caught every sound of fear in hearing the most dreaded, the deadliest word that started with a D. These nuts. D-I-B-O. I don't even want to finish it. It was scary to imagine that me and my little sister could be torn apart and taken into two different families. Oh my god, how dare. What? He said it started with a D. Anyway, your fox is nothing. I have an owl on my window. You and your owl talk again. You said you believed me just yesterday. Has anyone seen my car keys? Hey Maple. Hi Maple. I remember leaving them on the windowsill. Right. Maybe you did, and maybe not. You're a grown man, a father of two, and still... Karina, please, stop. Just let me get ready in peace. Your keys are in the basket near the phone. Well, thank you very much. Anton, stop making a martyr. How do you read that word again? Out of yourself and finish eating already. I heard these nuts. Yeah. The child said the most dreaded word started with the letter D, so these nuts, right? But the owl, there was no owl. But there was one. It had giant glowing eyes. Oya sprung up from the chair and placed her hands on her little face, imitating a pair of eyes with her fingers the size of an apple each. Last year you had bye-bye in your closet, and now this owl, what the hell is that? Bye-bye. Bye-bye. In Slavic folklore, a nocturnal spirit used by parents to threaten their ill-behaving children. That does not explain anything. What is bye-bye? There's no description of how it looks like or whatever. Hydrate, I will. Guess we'll never know what a bye-bye is. But I saw it. Oya shifted her gaze back and forth from Dad to Mom to me, but couldn't find any support. Have you thought about befriending it? You know, like feeding it with imaginary mice? Don't bully our girl. She's just afraid to sleep alone because she's still little. Olia pouted her lips in rebellion and rushed into the hallway. The staircase that led to the second floor creaked. Yeah. Mom gave Dad a strict look. Oh, that look in her eyes is so uncomfortable to be pinned under it. Dad just snorted in reply and left, ringing with the keys he just found. A minute had passed and the theme song from The Little Mermaid echoed through the house. It was stored on an incredibly worn-out cassette tape, which Dad already had to glue together once. It's so easy to fix objects by gluing them back together, for example. But how do you fix a relationship? Mom moved to the living room and I was left alone, anxiously stealing glances at the window. You poor child. Olia had trouble sleeping ever since we moved to this house. She would toss and turn or curl up into a ball under her blanket. Sometimes she would jump up in the middle of the night and turn on the VCR. Cartoons helped to take her mind off of all the troubles we had with the move and our parents. And then Olia said she saw that giant flying monster outside her window. She became obsessed with it. Our parents did everything in their power. They tried every little trick to get rid of those ridiculous fears. Oya refused to sleep alone and didn't believe that the owl was just one of her nightmares. After last night, I was unsure what to make of my sister's words, what to think of it myself. Can nightmares be infectious? Can nightmares be infectious? I think it will become what is it called? Mass panic? I don't know. I don't remember the term anymore. That night, I couldn't get a wink of sleep and ended up thinking of what to expect from my new school. There were a couple of days left before the beginning of a new term. My imagination drew long twisting hallways that led to a classroom full of kids. But all the students behind their desk were simply dark figures cut out using a template. I have pleasant dreams of blowing stuff up. Of course, that's normal for you, Maple. That's normal for you. Circular holes gaped in the middle of their faces, and a pair of eyes blinked inside those holes. It was as if some completely different creatures were looking at me from behind the flat, black silhouettes. Their cruel glares, filled with icy sneers, made me shiver from head to toe. Will I survive here? Won't they gang out on me and beat me down? Stomp on me with their bloodied shoes? That damn school can burn for all I care. I just wished for anything to happen to it. Doesn't really matter what. I didn't want to go there that badly. I didn't want to see people who are just itching to smack me on the head, trip me up, think of a new offensive name for me, worse than the previous one. I felt like the glasses I wore made me an outsider or some sort of monster. My gaze slid across the drawings hanging on the walls. I couldn't consider myself a great artist, but Olia begged me to hang them. Drawing was the only thing that made me happy as of late. The small circle of friends I had also enjoyed my paintings. They promised to call me from time to time. Sometimes I imagine Mom picking up the phone and saying in a cold voice, "You've got the wrong number." Or, Anton is not around. Anton is not around. I imagine my future classmates lying in their beds, just like me, listening to the howls of invisible werewolves outside their windows. Maybe my new classmates will like me after all. But who would ever like a boy with thick glasses? This is like the sad thing of in the past getting bullied when you wear glasses. I mean, my dad used to wear glasses when he was little, and now he's married to the most beautiful woman on the planet, my mom. The house creaked, pressed by the wind. Did he actually ever finish his porridge? You know, they never did say anything about it. The condo we used to live in, a 9th-floor concrete building. Cooking. Oh, you didn't drop your coins this time. You dropped clover leaves. Thank you for the 10 bits. 9th-floor concrete building buzzed with the neighbor's drill, mumbled with a TV set from behind the wall, cried like a baby from the big family next door. Whoops. Our current house, though I can't really call it new, was completely different. It was silent and easygoing during the day. Its shadows lay dormant in the corners, on the closet cobwebs, and under the stairs. But they all woke up during the night. Something was watching me from every corner, almost as if the old photos of my deceased family with their ashen eyes were hanging on the walls in place of my drawings. The floor was squeaky, rusty drains were moaning, the attic was occupied by noisy drafts. One could think the house was performing some sort of demonic melody, and then I realized I was in fact hearing music. It was already playing for a good while. Somewhere at the edge of my perception, I could hear a flute. It was mixed in with the sound of the wind, of the creaking old house, and my thoughts too. I stood up and rushed to the window. I wanted to reassure myself that this music was nothing more than
It was at this moment that he knew
imagination.
he fucked up.
He fucked up. Who fucked up? Who fucked up? You mean the child? The guy talking right now? It's not like someone is playing it there amidst the cold, snowy night, right? Yes, the child. I can open it. Clink, 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 clink. Someone was dancing in the field. Black silhouettes I could barely make out, with the dark forest as their backdrop. They jumped around, basked in moonlight, bumped into piles of snow, rolled around and crawled on all fours. Stories about wolves playing under the moon came to mind, but these were clearly not wolves. That ain't human, they got tails. You're not wrong, you're not wrong. They stood upright at times, circled around holding hands and whipping up snow, disappearing into the shadows for a brief moment and then coming back. Something bizarre was going on. Shadows dancing in the starless abyss made my imagination go wild, making me anxious at the same time. Suddenly, the music had stopped. The dancing shadows froze in place, and I could swear, pierced me with their eyes. One of the silhouettes immediately parted from the bizarre shadow carnival and sprinted across the field with giant leaps. It glided on squeaky snow without leaving any prints until it was devoured by the pitch-black shadow of my house, which became even darker and thicker. My heart was jumping around like a bird inside a cage. I shut the curtains with a swift motion and stepped back toward the bed. Why are you crying? Why are you crying? Thank you for the 10 bits again, but why are you crying? They saw me! A freezing torrent of fear washed over me. I stood in the middle of a perfectly dark room and listened to some unwanted guest move and scrape around, looking for an entrance. The sound moved to the right. David, scary? But you haven't seen them yet. Wolfman. You're a cat. From the void, I'm sure you can win them. Then circled around the house. Now my guest should be at the front door. I jumped into the bed and covered myself with the blanket as if it could protect me. Ah yes, hiding under the blanket. The shackles of fear locked my muscles. I remember the funeral, my grandma lying there, hands crossed on her chest, her facial features sharp like that of a tin doll. Not a thin doll, a tin doll. Ants running up and down the legs of chairs that held my grandma's casket. I imagined those little creatures climbing up her head and pulling up her eyelids with their tiny legs. Then her wrinkly eyeballs would once again move inside their sockets, and she'd be able to see her grandchildren. I was chanting the spell she taught me throughout the whole procedure, and now, lying under the blanket and listening to squeaks and howls, I was repeating the same words. On the island of Buyan, underneath the blemished sun, in the sea of color blue, stands a cabin made of wood. Evil, leave this house must. Evil, leave this house must? There are so many questions about this. Ashes to ashes, dust to dust. Bizarre sounds had disappeared. I cautiously picked out from under the blanket and saw curtains waving around like a hanged man. And then the night doused me with a new portion of boiling terror. The sound scratched at my eardrums. In reality, something or someone was scratching at the front door, hurriedly clawing at the wood, demanding to be let in. The door was shut. Dad had become very cautious recently, so he installed a sturdy lock. I remember him staring at the forest intensely, as if he was looking for someone. Ashes to ashes, dust to dust. I hugged my knees, placing my chin between them, and drilled the door with my eyes. It was so flimsy and weak before the might of darkness. And then... Oh, the doorknob is turning. The doorknob twitched slightly. Then it turned halfway, once, twice, as if the person who tried to enter had no hands. The doorknob tilted once more, and then started clicking violently. My jaw cramped from fear. My red fingers clutched the blanket. The door creaked and opened. The wind taunted me, moaning inside the tin drains. Now you'll see. The door was wide open. The darkness writhed inside the carnivorous mouth of a doorway. Tony. I thought it was two, but it was Tony. It was as if the night itself was calling out to me, flapping its black wings. Oh my god, black wings. Black wings and squeaking with rusty hinges. I was trembling and snared by the web of darkness that hung in the corners of my room, waiting for the one who weaved it to come out of the gaping black hole. It was Tony. My abdomen tightened and my chest rose up, ready to exhale a desperate scream. But before I was able to do anything, the darkness asked me, "Tosha, you asleep?" My sister's pale face protruded from the thick shadows. I almost screamed from relief. "Oh yeah? I'm not sleeping. Did something happen?" Oya frowned and stuck out her lower lip, a clear sign that she was about to cry. It was the little sister all this time. It's there again, staring at me. Shoo her away, Tosha, please. I'm so scared. The fear that was tormenting me just a minute ago crawled away and hid somewhere in my stomach. I needed to calm Oya down. It was just a dream, silly. Don't be scared. Dreams don't bite. No one's going to harm you. Oya sobbed. She was trying her best to believe me. But was I sure myself? I have an idea. Let's go to your room and watch the video Sipping Beauty, for example. You like that cartoon, don't you? Why does the Sleeping Beauty have a prince and I have this scary bird? That question took me by surprise. Alright, let's watch Cinderella. My thoughts became tangled, fuzzy. What was that? What studied me with its eyes while dancing furiously under the moon? Bird, I knew it. What do you know? What do you know? What was your revelation? The darkness was clinging to the window and couldn't be fooled by Grandma's old chants. It couldn't be satisfied with a feast of lard and long ashen hair. Birds are spy? Spy of what? Tosha, are you coming? Yes, just a moment. Oh. It was a jump scare! It was a wolf! Maple, it was a wolf! All this time. We did. Oh hey, he's alive. Wolfman. Oh wait, it was like what do you call this? Recollection of the past? It was a recollection of the past. He didn't even like finish eating his cold ass porridge now. He's still eating the cold ass porridge. He's stoned. He just drifted off into his memories. That's why I didn't want to laugh at Oya or her owl in the morning. That porridge must be drugs. Bad porridge. Ping pong, ping pong, ping pong, ping pong. Who could be visiting us here in the middle of nowhere? We don't know anyone around here. So persistent. I felt extremely unsettled just from a silly thought that our morning guest could have come from the woods. I could barely hear voices coming from the front door. My mind was urging me to hide in the closet, under the table, behind the curtains where Oya always hides. Tosha, come here! I felt like kettlebells were tied to my feet, but still dragged them toward the hallway. Who are they? A couple of policemen towered over me in the doorway. Oh. Policemen. They smelled like frost and worry. What? No, wait. I can kind of imagine the smell of frost, but not the smell of worry. Worry? Smell of worry? My mom always winced and grumbled the moment she saw patrol cars. Worse than bandits. At the moment, though, she looked somewhat confused. Hello, the senior officer who wore a grim expression nodded. A boy had gone missing yesterday. His name's Vova. Look at this, please. Have you seen him? Does it smell like rain? Worry? I don't think so. I don't know the smell of worry. The policeman held out a photograph to me. There was a ginger boy around the age of elementary school, pictured with a wall carpet as the backdrop. He had a striped cat in his hands and wore a white smile. It's a cat! Maple, it's a cat! No, I haven't. Are you sure? Look closely. Where will I see him? I don't know anyone around here. I barely leave the house. Well, maybe you've seen him from the window. That's right. Your windows look straight at the forest, don't they? The window. Cameo, the cat won't tell they keep secrets. We'll never know now. No, I haven't seen anything. I see. He sounded tired by his eyes. His stare, long and heavy, was full of suspicion. I squirmed unwittingly under the weight of guilt, which his giant shadow cast over me. The policeman finally tore his eyes from me and glanced over the hallway, the stairway, and the cracks in the ceiling, which I hadn't noticed before for some reason. How do you like your new place, by the way? Getting used to it? Bit by bit. It's just that our little daughter misses the city a lot. Misses the city, huh? Have the locals be treating you well? Yes, everything is alright, thank you. The policeman pierced through me one more time with his grey eyes. My head started spinning. Can I help you somehow? I asked that in a shaky voice to look like a polite boy and to end this unpleasant conversation sooner. Now that I think about it, you look just like one of my nephews, little fella. He's a witty boy around your age, wears the same type of goggles, haha, always engrossed in reading those mystery novels. Told me he wants to enroll in police school when his family visited this summer. Wanted to help other people, just like me, see? I felt uncomfortable, as if a distant relative and not a police officer stood before me. You know what? Little boys like you should stay at home, steer away from trouble. The times have changed so much. Mom interjected in a cold voice. You don't say. Well then. What grade are you in, Anton? 6. Have you made any friends here so far? Not yet. I'll be going to school for the first time after the break. Then I'll leave you my number, just in case. Call me if you have any new info. What do you imagine a 6th grader to have, like, information on a missing child? Yeah, kids stay home or the cat will get you. Well, he is scared of like bipedal creatures, right? So a cat could be one of them. The policemen were gone along with their shadows, the smell of cheap cologne, and the photo of a smiling boy. His face still stood before my eyes. I wondered what it was like for him, being all alone there. For some reason, I thought of the forest, swaying in the wind. What did his poor parents feel? And what would my parents do if I'd gone missing? Would they cry and trash around hysterically? Or would they accuse each other like they always do and forget about me eventually? Mom, this Wova, did he go missing in our forest? Seems like it. Poor child. I looked out the window at the road. The police UAZ drove off toward the village. What is a UAZ? Huh? A Soviet and Russian off-road freight passenger car brand which was produced on the I can't read. Ulyanov car factory? Shit, all this Russian names. The officer's nephew came to mind when I was splitting off old paint from the windowsill. I remembered all the teenage mystery novels from the Black Kitty series I've read this summer. Black Kitty series? A series of contemporary Russian original or translated teen mystery books. Oh. Your average boys and girls investigated all sorts of mysteries there. They looked for clues, spied on suspicious people. The child knows too much. And after a set of amazing adventures, bam! Solved any complicated case. They became local celebrities. Celebrities? My reading skill has gone to shit. They became local celebrities and must have made their parents very proud. I noticed a trail of policemen's footprints that led to the forest. And then it clicked in my head. Why don't I start an investigation of my own, even though I'm so afraid of the forest? Maybe I'll find that lost boy, and I'll get a reward. Olya will be so happy. And not only Olya, Mom and Dad too. Maybe they'll even forget about their quarrels for a while. Maybe I'll even save us from the D word, these nuts. Yes, child, go ahead and... Oh, the cat is gonna do something. I fantasized about buying Olya a Tamagotchi and getting a cassette player and a bunch of tapes for myself. And a whole box of Kinder Surprise. Ah yes. When was the last time our parents bought us any toys? Last autumn, I think. My dad had lost his job at the time. There's that annoying song about it. Song? Accountant, a song by an all-female Soviet pop band by the name of Combination that became widely popular in the early 90s. Okay. I had little to no idea what was the accountant's job like. They count money, I think. Neighbors used to envy us. Well, accountant, yeah, they do earn quite a bit of money. But nowadays, Mom and Dad barely had money to afford sweets, and Dad would always divide a single chocolate bar between me and Olya. Sometimes I gave her my share too. No matter how much I wanted to eat sweets, she was still just a pipsqueak. I couldn't wait to go out, looking for clues. I'm going outside! Yeah, right. You want the police to go around with your photograph next? The forest is so thick. What if the boy got snatched up by wild animals? Or something even worse? Even worse, echoed through the hallway. I won't go far. I'll stay away from the forest. Do you hear what I said? Or should I repeat myself? Better go pack your school bag or play with Olya. The sound of splashing water came from the kitchen. It meant that the argument was over and Mom had the last word. Daddy mother, you ruined the cat plans. Well, can't go out. What's this? Oh? This cross had seen so many people come and go in this house. It was black, as if it absorbed all human sin from the long years it was hanging under the ceiling. It just means you didn't clean the cross. After Grandma died, Mom was going to take it off and hang a horseshoe in its place as a lucky charm, but she cut herself with the cross's sharp corner and almost fell from the step ladder. Dad called it a sign from above and ordered the cross to be left alone in its rightful place. Alright. My parents prohibit me from making long-distance calls, but from time to time, I really want to hear my old friends. Sometimes I would just pick up the phone, listen to the low hum of the zoomer and the distant crackling, imagining the wind howling in the ice-leaden cords. Okay. Mom's peg top, a family relic. My mom played with it when she was little, then she gifted it to me. Olia was next in the succession line. The toy belonged to her now. She stared at the dancing spindle as if it could show her something, a fairy tale, or maybe even our future. Now even my little sister was a bit too old for the old squeaky peg top. The dark, stuffy closet. Mom says it smells like mice, but how would she know their smell? She hates when I stick my nose in there. She's afraid I'll cut myself on the freshly sharpened axe. And Olia can't even be lured close to it. She thinks Baba is living there. I tried to help her fight her fears once. I opened the door and turned on a dim lamp so she would see there was nothing but cobwebs, Dad's tools, and scratched walls. She still didn't believe me. And I liked to hide in the closet and listen to Oya count outside. 1, 2, 3, better hide from me. And then drag her feet on the creaking floorboards, hoping that she wouldn't need to look for me in the cramped monster's den. Alright. Is the mother the wolfman? I don't think so. I took a peek at Mom's crossword. She would get very angry when someone gave her advice, so me and Dad faked knowing the answer and being about to reveal it all the time. I smiled at that fleeting thought. Vertical, 9 letters. The name of the Philistine deity that protected them from the viper bites and had a nickname, the Lord of Flies. The second letter is E. I don't know shit. Oh, sounds like my mom came home. The side of an old ocean freezer was checkered with my childish drawings, Mom's recipes, and all kinds of stickers from bubblegum with dinosaurs that Oya liked so much. Among that still life picture hung a piece of ruled paper with the phone number of the police officer who visited us. First Lieutenant Tikhonov. I read inside my mind, looking at the officer's sprawling handwriting. A square of paper was held by 2 pieces of broken magnet from some old Soviet toy, and those pieces just barely covered up the letters as if to taunt me. I leaned toward it to unveil the mystery and take the piece to a safer place where it would wait for its time, when I would finally find Wova and be the first to call the police with the happy news. Anton! Mom's reproachful eyes stared at me. What do you need it for? Hands off, you'll lose it. Angering my mom was the last thing I wanted, so I lowered my hand. Okay. The decrepit and stain-covered calendar was once my favorite form of entertainment in Grandma's house. I remember waking up and running to the kitchen so I could tear off yesterday's sleeve first thing in the morning, as if the coming day would get lost in the taiga forest without my help. One day closer to New Year's, one day closer to Grandma's funeral. I haven't touched this calendar for years now, since the time they started writing dark and spooky death chants that only made me gloomy instead of funny proverbs and superstitions, to be exact. I grabbed a dusty calendar leaf with caution and it tore off effortlessly. Sadly, the spooky descriptions from my childhood were still there. 7 horses carry the log. If 7 can't carry, bring the 8th from a fairy. They will take it away and never come back. This is the fate the lock cannot escape. I crumpled the grey leaf and threw it into the waste bin, hoping to get rid of the anxiousness that washed over me. It was spreading inside me like an ink stain on blotting paper. Alright. Unbelievable.
МЧС России объявила экстренное предупреждение из-за неблагоприятных погодных условий.
Even though you turn off the lights, the radio still have sound. Of Russia has declared a state of emergency due to adverse weather
По
conditions.
прогнозу синоптиков, к региону приближается циклон, из-за которого ожидается сильный снег, метель, снежные
Whatever she
заносы
said.
на дорогах.
Whatever she said. According to the weather forecast, a cyclone is moving toward the region. Expect heavy snowfall, blizzards, and snowdrifts on the road.
Будьте осторожны и берегите себя.
Yeah, what she said. Keep your eyes open and take care of yourself. Yeah, what she said. Do you think I can lie to mom? It was difficult to lie to mom, but there was no other way for me to run away from home. Mom, something's wrong with the TV. The picture is dim and there are stripes all over the screen. Mom's face became visibly distorted. Ah, you're killing me here. So have you had enough of shooting those stupid ducks now? Told you the kinescope. I don't know how to read that word. Will go dim because of your console. Where will we find a TV technician in this hole, huh? Maybe it's just the settings? Please, go see for yourself. Strange. It worked fine in the morning. Maybe the snowfall caused it. Mom rubbed her hands clean on her apron and went to Oya's room. Alright, time to run. I opened the front gate and went into the field, carefully so Mom wouldn't see me from the window. When I crossed half the distance towards the forest, the snow piles became as high as my knees. I remembered my nightly fears. I saw those silhouettes around here. They were jumping around, holding hands. The hypnotizing music started playing in my head all on its own. In the light of day, those distant figures felt like a simple dream. The sun turned my nightmares to ash, but the aftertaste was still there. Distant ringing in my ears, distorted shadows crawling on the snow alongside me, and barely an audible whisper in my head, blurry and almost kind. Everything was silent. Hike rest. So silent I felt like the world was totally empty. No ground, no sky, no parents, no Oya. The time reached its limit. A one-way trip that ended at the forest, piney stockade. Sometimes silence was much scarier than any scream. Our parents would scream at each other while arguing, and both me and Oya turned to stone, listening to them. But then always came the ringing silence. It's the white forest. Our apartment became numb a couple of days before we departed. It was hard to remember the last time Mom and Dad joked around, laughing, or spent time together, almost like all of it was in the previous life. When they kissed with Oya present, she always frowned and snorted in a funny way. But one day, it all changed. You know, when the Fire Nation attacked, I'm sorry. I'm gonna drink some water. Something important had left our home. What is it, love? And something scary filled the remaining void. It was as if a fire broke out, and our parents were hurriedly packing our belongings, trying to save themselves and us. From who though? From the people with dead cold eyes, who sometimes visited us in our previous home? The eyes that only saw balls of worms on the black ground and everything. And somewhere far away a siren was going off, trying to warn us of the coming menace. I shuddered, chasing away my delusions, and looked around. Circular glasses. Nice. There were only me, this white field, and the wind that was whipping up icy dust and belts of powdered snow. The Russian Harry Potter? I squinted from the sun and turned my eyes to the sunless forest. It looked especially dark in contrast with the blinding whiteness. Knobby tree roots slithered under the snow like fat snakes. Yes, rotten leaves and coniferous needles froze into the eyes. Dry, prickly branches intertwined, bringing up uncomfortable thoughts about fences. Were they protecting the forest? Or were they keeping something from breaking out? Some object was hanging from one of the pointy branches. I tried to get closer, drowning in snow, and when I almost got to the edge of the forest, I saw a knitted mitten. It looked like a wounded bird among the hungering semi-dog. Semi-dog? Same, close enough, I guess. Should I take it to the police? Their senior officer looked gloomy, but he still reminded me of Captain Casanova from my favorite TV show called The Streets of Broken Lights. A Russian mystery TV series telling a story of the daily life of Russian police officers. Is the longest running series in the history of Russian TV at the moment. Alright? He was also always anxious, with a tired look in his eyes, but still brave and strong. Will this mitten help them find the lost boy? Vova! I heard a distant shout. It looked like it came from the river. It's not sound like it came from the river, it looked like it came from the river. Vova! As if the trees were calling out to someone. Vova! Resounded closer to me. Someone was standing there, behind the trees, hiding. Vova! I knew someone was looking for the lost boy, but still, something was unsettling about that figure. Its stillness, how it was bent unnaturally toward the ground. Its blackness. There's no one there, just branches and roots. It's all just my imagination. A nearby bird flapped its wings loudly. Oh! A shadow split from the tree and disappeared from my sight. I looked away for just a moment, but when I turned my gaze back to the same place, it was gone. So it was my imagination, after all. Silence reigned for a painfully long time. Was it his imagination? Will we find out? There's footsteps though. My muscles were tightly sprung. My heart was beating somewhere in my throat. Any noise, any little movement, any small whisper from the thicket, and I'd sprint. But nothing of the sort happened. I looked at the mitten once more. Run away, take it, run away, take it, run away, take it. In the next episode, I'm gonna take it, don't be a wuss. It's the standard issue horror BGM. I decided to take the lonely mitten from the branch. Oh! Oh! Vova! A shout rumbled across the field and dissolved into the distance. No echo, no hope for a reply. Listen, you know, you gotta take the chance in like horror games, you know? I stepped toward the bristly trees and tried to claim my find. It knows mimicry. It didn't budge. Oh, I pulled harder, the branch cracked and the mitten tore off, landing in my hand with a squishy sound. All too wet. All too wet? All too heavy. Wet. I squeezed it without thinking and something dark spilled from it, forming a tiny string between the mitten and the snow. Steam rose from the snow pile. Steam? Ew. Ew, dark liquid, ew. I froze in place, studying my palms in disgust. Red. The sound of crackling branches invaded the silence. I didn't have to think twice before running away. Wow, he's running hard. Someone was chasing me from the darkness, breaking pine branches, closing distance with giant leaps. Snow was slowing me down. Crazy thoughts flew through my mind. I'll get caught. They'll get me. I'll get dragged into the thicket. I'll be gone forever. But there was one more voice, probably one of reason. It gave me strength, spurred me on. You can do it. Don't stop. I heard an animal roar behind me. It was so loud my ears went numb. It felt like the sound had come from a pack of hungry beasts rather than a single one. Their nostrils sucked in freezing air. They sensed my fear. Two giant wings flapped above my head. An enormous shadow flew over the clearing. A hoot, a wheeze. The roars were coming from all directions now. From the dried up raspberry bush, from twisted pines, from under the windfall. Hurry, run, don't look back. It felt like I was inside a nightmare. The snowy clearing became viscous like quicksand. I was stuck in place. I pulled my leg from the mushy trap just to be caught in a new one, even deeper than before. I continued to drown, sinking deeper and deeper with every desperate push. Was snow ever this sticky? I screamed in horror after realizing this wasn't snow. Just run faster, and run faster. Someone or something in the snow pile was clutching my pants. I gathered all my strength and rushed forward. The pressure on my leg was gone, my boot slipped out of the hole, and my soles were on a hard surface again. I reached a clear path with one jump, and from there, ran to my house. Its gloomy facade didn't look threatening now. That house was my line of defense from the shadows that flapped their wings and the creatures that were hiding under the snow. I tripped over the doorstep and smashed into the door. In all my hurry, I still managed to notice the claw marks, as if a dog was striking the wood with its paws, demanding to be let in so it could escape the cold. I hadn't noticed these marks when I was leaving. The heartbeat in my ears was much louder than my surroundings. I couldn't hear whether someone was following me or not. What if they were already in our front yard and Mom had locked the door? Drowning in fear, I pulled on the doorknob and it obediently gave way. I rolled into the hallway and shut the door behind me. Porch planks creaked as my pursuers ascended the stairs. My fingers slipped off the lock and I couldn't click it into place. I gritted my teeth and pulled hard on the iron knob, whipping it between the boards. I stared blankly at the door. Someone was standing on the other side of the pitiful, flimsy barrier that was probably less useful than blankets. Whizzing breath reached into the house and crashed at me in waves. It smelled of pine and sweat. Mom peeked out of the kitchen and chastised me with the same frigid voice she always used when talking to Dad. What exactly didn't you understand when I told you never slam the door? I thought you told him not to go out of the house either. I didn't mean to. I snuck a glance at the door. The smell was gone, and the breath was too, if there was someone in the first place, of course. Here, mere 5 meters away from Mom, my fear was slowly weakening, melting like snow in spring, and with it, the last bit of strength I had left my body too. My legs gave way. I propped myself up against the wall so I wouldn't fall over. Mom's expression had changed immediately. The cold mask of strictness and detachment was gone. Mom looked the same as before all those quarrels. She finally saw my condition, my wet pants plastered with snow. Where have you been? What did I tell you, huh? I told you to stay home. Am I nothing to you too? I got afraid she would cry. I reached out to her like when I was very little and wanted her to cuddle me. But Mom regained her composure. What the hell am I reading? Mom regained her composure fast and put on her usual face. Her eyes shined like steel. Her voice rang out. Your dad can't find his cigarettes. Be honest. Did you snatch them? Were you smoking in secret? There was someone chasing me. I thought... I stuttered as soon as I started explaining myself. Tears welled up in my eyes. Mom leaned toward me and sniffed my clothes like a beast, searching for the smell of tobacco. Then she squinted her eyes in suspicion and looked into the front yard. Her expression changed in an instant, and she covered her mouth with her hand. Look, over there, at the fence! My heart started thumping as if I became prey once again, and my pursuers were following me in the field. I could swear that I've heard something scratch at the door, just like in my nightmare. Mom beckoned me with a finger, and I gathered all my remaining bravery to look into the kitchen window, facing my fear. Oh. I could barely discern some hairy silhouettes swimming in the snow through the icy winter patterns on the glass. Dogs! Just a small pack of strays, with no name and owner, barely reminding of the hungry monsters that live on the edge of the forest. Oh boy, were you scared of them? I think they'd rather be scared of you, Anton. Doggos. They were chasing me, like a bunny. And what if they're rabid? The smile had slowly disappeared from Mom's face. Now she looked at the dogs as if it was her first time seeing them. What if they attacked Olya? Mom? I wish your dad could just shoot them all. Oh my god. Mom, look, they're alive. Huh, what? Are they your friend or foe after all? Make up your mind. You're not a little kid anymore. Thanks, Mom. Well, some detective I am. In reality, I wasn't risking my life among monsters, but rather my pants among a pack of stupid strays. And what for? What use do I have for this? Mitten. Of course. A darkened, sticky mitten that belonged to the lost boy made a squishy sound in my hand. Seems like I was clutching it the whole time. Shoot them up. That's my trump card as a detective. I hurried to present this clue to my mom. Mom, look, this is Vova's mitten. Ew. Gross. That boy the police were asking about in the morning. It's drenched in blood. I found it hanging on a tree. I can show where. Let's call the police right away, like the officer had told us to. Mom, look! Ew! A shadow of doubt slowly crept onto Mom's contorted face, as if she was trying to remember something distant, like someone tries to remember their dream, but the images slip away. Stop it this moment! Olya will go insane if she hears you. She already has trouble sleeping and whines all the time. And you go, and you joke around like this? At that moment, I realized the mitten was actually wet from snow. There was no blood whatsoever. I wanted to sink through the floor from embarrassment. Come here, my boy, who cried Wolf. Oh, don't just stand there. Come take your pills. The art is so good. A golden-colored pill, reminiscent of a dead wasp, fell onto my palm. I already took one during breakfast. Don't talk over me. I told you to stay home, and you. Dad would have given you a good whipping for that. Come on, take it, or you won't be able to sleep at night, and you have school tomorrow. So I had to swallow the bitter medication, drinking it down with similarly awful water that gave off a taste of chlorine. Maybe it wasn't Vova's mitten. Maybe it wasn't a mitten at all. Just like the forest monsters and Olya's owl. Am I going mad? What's happening to me? Either the pill had an immediate... getting tongue-tied again. Either the pill had an immediate effect, or my overexerted brain didn't let fear inside anymore. Serenity washed over me, bringing yawny indifference along with it. Anton, you done? See, you can do it when you try. Take off your coat. Are you asleep? No, Mom, I was just thinking. About what about, I wonder? It's just something silly. Mom scrutinized me with suspicious eyes, as if she wasn't sure she was looking at her own son and not some doppelganger that came from the forest. Is everything alright? You had the exact same expression when the policeman asked you about the window. I'm alright, Mom. She heaved a deep sigh. Fine. It seemed like the house had changed. The sofa's fabric had become discolored. Fingerprints appeared on the bathroom towels. The light bulbs also felt different, dimmer, and yellower. Even the saliva inside my mouth had a different taste. A melody from Aladdin could be heard from the upper floor. Oya was done rewatching her favorite Little Mermaid episodes and switched to the other tapes. I slowly changed into my home clothes, stopping before the sink and studied my reflection in the mirror, like I was trying to solve one of those spot the difference puzzles. Then I went upstairs. Jaffar's and Lago's voices died down. I walked past Oya's bedroom and slipped into my own. Or my Triceratops figurine. I know about all sorts of dinosaurs, Velociraptors, Afrovenators, Hypsilophodons. I don't know their names. I remember going to the movies to see Jurassic Park back when we still lived in the city and taking pictures with the T-Rex in the hall. It turned its head and roared. It was awesome. And next to it was Robotech Transformer. I love this cartoon. When the jet fighter speeds up in the intro among the sounds of blaster fire, you know your next 20 minutes will surely be amazing. Then 3D space station is captured. Rick, get ready for battle. Alright. I've dreamt of becoming an artist since Dad bought me my first comic book. Fly magazine was the coolest. I especially liked the big space-related edition with alien monsters and that funny episode about a gendarme. I don't know what that is either. Fly, the first Soviet and Russian periodic adult comics magazine. Adult comics magazine, and the dad bought it for his 12-year-old son. Alright. Extremely popular during the crazy 90s. What made the magazine stand out was the refusal to use material from its foreign counterparts. Okay. I started drawing all kinds of stuff since that day, and I seem to be getting pretty good at it. One of my letters even got published in Fly once. Maybe someday they'll even publish my comic. Good dream to have, good dreams to have. Monsters, ghosts, UFOs. The Encyclopedia of Paranormal Phenomenon from Rossman Publishing. I've learned about the Loch Ness Monster, Medusa Gorgon, and Bigfoot from there. Oya is always scared of the book. She could barely handle sifting through the monsters. Sifting through the monster and alien sections with me, but the middle part where they start to talk about ghosts really freaked her out. I even remember hunting whole ghosts after I read the book. I measured the distance between items on my table every evening and checked if they moved due to some supernatural force come the morning. They didn't. But to be honest, what was I expecting? To meet Casper the ghost? Well, you know. The forest didn't look as grim during the day. Entangled tree branches in the distance and the snowy field between our house and the forest brought sleepiness to my eyes. But sometimes I would still catch myself looking in the window at the icy treetops instead of doing my homework. Okay. One of the drawers was empty. I hid the mitten there. This simple action drained the last bit of strength from me. His throat. I sat on the bed. And only then I noticed there was someone behind the curtains. My tired hand dropped to the sheets. Whether it was due to medication I took or the stress I underwent, the room began to contort as if the wind was blowing the walls out like a pair of sails. The corners of the room bent and undulated. The only stable thing in the whole room was the figure between the windowsill and the curtains. A flimsy piece of cloth was stuck to my hidden visitor. It reminded me of Brill's sheets. Oh yeah? Who else would be standing there? I stood up and licked my dried up lips. Yeah, Oya is so funny. The silhouette was unmoving. It was enveloped softly by the curtains, as if there was a thick layer of darkness there, not a human being. I reached towards the curtains. Badum, badum, beat my heart, controlled by medication. The wind sang in the field with a chorus of voices. For a second, I wanted to return to the bed, just lie down and watch the person behind the curtain, knowing full well they were looking back at me. They're looking without blinking, waiting for me to fall asleep. Plastic rings rustled against the holder when I pulled back the curtains. Gotcha! I knew it was you from the beginning. A blindingly bright halo lit up above Oya's head with the setting sun as the background. My sister was shining. When she was just a baby, Dad always used to say she was shining with happiness. I always retorted, but Dad, she's not some flashlight, alright? But I brought her to the window one day and sunlight poured on her smiling face. I felt like I was holding a light, woven child. I saw everything. Oh really? What did you hide? She was just like my mom when she was little, before she put on her sad mask of tiredness and switched to her commanding tone of voice. It's nothing, just... Oya ran up to the table, her eyes round, and asked, You stole something and hid it there? Are you a thief? What? Don't be stupid. I didn't steal anything. A clear image came to mind, that mitten hanging from a tree branch. What if I did steal it after all? From the forest, from the tilted figure standing behind black trees. Oya could be selfish and stubborn when she wanted. Then show me. Swear that you won't tell anyone, then I'll show you. Oya wore a plotting smile. I swear on Mom's heart. An oath she heard in one of the movies about the pioneers we've watched. Pioneer movement, an umbrella term from communist children organizations existing around the world, somewhat reminiscent of the Scout movement. Okay, don't say things like that. Oya nodded and made a gesture with her hand, locking her mouth with an imaginary key. She was filled with curiosity that was splashing in her giant eyes. I opened the drawer and Oya leaned in, holding her breath. It looked like there was not just a simple mitten, but some sort of exotic critter. Is this someone's mitten? She said that as if she couldn't understand what she saw. A certain boy lost it, and got lost himself. Now do you understand how dangerous it is for kids to wander into the forest, right? Wait, did I even read that sentence right? I don't think I read that sentence right. It must be really cold out there. Will they find him? They will. The police are going house to house, showing his photo to everybody. Oya traversed the room with care and pressed her tiny palms against the window. And why are they going to houses and not the forest? Are they scared? The question caught me off guard. The police aren't scared of anything. They've already scouted the forest. Yeah, right, flashed in my clouded mind. Did they really check every nook and cranny where darkness, cold, and whispers of icy branches dwell? If that's the case, how did they miss the mitten? Or did it appear later? For me. I changed the topic, as if trying to get Oya as far away as possible from the forest thicket. We may get a reward if I go and find this boy by myself. A lot of stuff, like in the Wheel of Fortune. Oh my god, Wheel of Fortune. A Soviet and Russian TV game show still running to this day, coming out every Friday, can be described as a partially adapted version of Wheel of Fortune. Field of Wonders. But the child didn't say Field of Wonders. Sounds cool, right? Oya wasn't listening to me. She was piercing the forest with incredibly adult eyes, uncharacteristic. Reading how to read for her. What if the owl got him? Nonsense! An owl won't be able to lift a human. But you know what? I was speaking my words with utmost care. I forced them out of my ever over-exerted brain. Stay away from the forest. I think it's... How should I put it? It's cursed or something. Just like in a fairy tale? No, more like in that spooky tape our parents hide from us. Oya shivered and stole a glance at the window. I saw you running away. Someone was chasing you? No, it's just... I was hurrying back home so Mom won't be worried. As I looked at my sister, my heart was tearing apart. She was so fragile, it was so easy to stifle her light. A gust of wind and her small fire would be gone. You're lucky. Mom won't even let me go outside. I'm like a princess in the tower, can't go anywhere. I'll die from boredom here. Hello, Asian. You're wrong. No one has ever died of boredom. And you have me and your cartoons, and Mom and Dad will be good to each other soon. You know what I would wish for on my next birthday? I'd wish for Mom and Dad to turn into children so we could go and play together like we used to. Yeah, and if you'd make them as small as bugs, we could place them into a little box. Oya giggled and tugged at my sleeve. Tosha, let's go watch Aladdin. Fatigue won over my desire to be with my little sister. I was washed over by some sort of heinous apathy. I'm too tired. I don't want to. Come on! It's so boring alone and Mom is always busy. We can pick a cartoon you haven't seen before. I know all of our tapes by heart at this point. Not all of them. You haven't watched Peter Pan. Remember how you fell asleep in the middle of it? And so much happens after that. Let's go, let's go! Maybe a bit later. Should I tell you how it ends? Let's leave that for tomorrow. I won't tell you tomorrow. I know, let's play hide and seek. No, Oya. Then draw me a dino. Oya, please. Draw it, draw it. Leave me alone already. I blurted it out without thinking, and then I was immediately taken aback. I'd never screamed at my little sister like that. Oya stared at me in shock. Her lips started trembling, a precursor to tears. My chest was seething with disgust and embarrassment. What's happening to me? Sorry I'm late. How am I this fantastic night? I'm reading some things for a little while from this visual novel, and then I'm going to go to sleep because I have to go to the office to work tomorrow. Also, Eva, thank you for the redeems. I will drink, check my posture and stretch. Give me a moment. I no longer have the hermit life. Alright, there we go. I hurried to prevent Oya from crying. Alright, you win. Let's go watch cartoons for a bit. I don't wanna! I came up to her, put my hand on her soft head. Let's go. Let's go watch Peter Pan. Boo, you'll fall asleep again. I smiled and lifted her chin. Her eyes were wet and felt bottomless. I promise I won't. And I'll draw you a full Triceratops later. Hooray! Triceratops. Well, close enough. Oya rubbed her eyes with a sleeve of her pajamas and a shining smile returned to her face. I'll go ask Mom for condensed milk and bread and you rewind the tape. The bread is fresh, just like you like it. Alright, just be careful not to spill the milk, or you'll be yelled at again. Wanna bet I won't spill it? The tape is somewhere in the nightstand. Look for it. The appointment? No. I'm just going to work. I've been working from home all this time. But it's ending, so I have to start going back to work starting tomorrow. It was a very last minute notification, but we're going back to work tomorrow. Hello, daughters. Oya disappeared into the doorway and I dragged my feet into the neighboring room. Why does it make like a quack sound? That ain't a duck. A piggy bank. Oya is saving money for a real puppy because Dad said that taking care of him will take a lot of money. Alright. Oya's countless toys. An old teddy bear is the main attraction here. Oya doesn't sleep without it. And she digs her nose into its fur when she sleeps. Okay. The scary window where Oya sees that accursed owl every night, lurking in the dark. Oya keeps curtains open during the day, but as soon as the twilight comes, she shuts them tight, so she wouldn't see the pair of hungry eyes outside. Stay safe for us. The kawaii Syun must be healthy and happy always. I'll be safe. I think I'll all be fine. Even though I don't really like going out, but you know, there's no choice when you're a working adult, so I was quite lucky that my work from home lasted this long. The old photon TV was gathering dust in the corner. All that was left was clicking the button on the front panel. Oh, static. The tube warmed up and familiar white noise started dancing on the black screen. I almost reached out to turn on the VCR when the noise calmed down and a blurry image appeared for a moment. Oh, it was a dark taiga forest, just like the one outside my window. The picture split the screen in half. Something creepy resembling human speech was coming out of the speaker. Just a few moments later, the scenery was once again overshadowed by noise. Did they catch some rogue signal? Local TV station only really showed Soviet cartoons, and even that was pretty rare. And only just recently I used to always watch Robotech before school. It was so awesome. Maybe I should tinker with the antenna. What if I catch this channel again? On the other hand, Oya had asked me to find the tape. It wouldn't be nice to disappoint her. But in my sleepy state, I didn't have the strength to do all of it. Alright. Speaking of which, how long were you teleworking? Also, this TV reminds me of doing teleworking. What is teleworking? What is teleworking? Instead of said, I should search. Let's not disappoint the little sister. I sifted through the shelves full of dolls and blue hippos from Kinder Surprise. I found the tape I needed thanks to its shabby spine. That's one way of finding it, I guess. I got the black rectangle from its box. The tape inside it rustled while rewinding to the beginning. This rustle was lulling me to sleep. Drowsiness attacked me while I was squatting before the TV. Images rolled in my head, me and Oya flying above the forest, tumbling in the soft clouds. My little sister is laughing, but her smile becomes more and more forced with every passing second. I noticed that the clouds underneath us part, bearing the bristly pine tops. Teleworking is working home from home over the phone or at home. No, I'm not working in teleworking. It's just that my job was able to be done from home, which is why I was working from home. And Singapore was closed because of COVID too. It's only recently when they released to a looser, what do you call it? They just basically loosen up the COVID thing, so you know, we have to go back to office. Stormy darkness lurked among the trees. The wings are no longer able to hold us and Oya. You haven't started without me, have you? My sister brought the tray with unevenly cut bread and a whole can of condensed milk. I rubbed my eyes. No, come sit. Mom and Dad are arguing again. They're going through rough times. Rough times are lame. PN the screen. On the screen, Wendy was hiding Peter Pan's shadow into the dresser. Oya was entertained by the cartoonish dog Nana. Maybe Mom and Dad will buy us a dog too. Yeah, right. I'll have my own dog in the Neverland, and a cat, and a parrot. Oya smeared a slice of bread with a thick layer of condensed milk and handed it to me. Sorry for the misunderstanding, but don't work too hard on push over. It's okay. I never did told you what my job was, so it's okay. Have you lost all of your baby teeth? Obviously. Oya frowned, deep in thought. Peter Pan has baby teeth. What if they won't let you go to his land with adult teeth? We'll think of something. We'll ask Dad to alter your age in the passport. And why would Dad forge documents? Oya took a bite from the sandwich and started talking with a mouthful. He will. How am I supposed to read that? What is this ooh language? I heard Mom that he did that before. You'll grow ears as big as Dumbo's. Oya got worried and touched her ear. I smiled to myself. My little sister was silent now. She just devoured bread, watching the adventures of Peter Pan, Tinkerbell, and James Hook, as if she got sucked into the fairy tale wonderland. To be honest, I also imagined myself there, in a land where one never ages, where no one argues over little things, where no one listens to fights and the sound of broken plates at night. It felt like I was dreaming with my eyes still open. Then my sister's scream pulled me back to reality. Tosha, shut the curtains fast! Why? No one's watching you. It's dark, and when it's dark, the owl comes. I'm scared. I got out of bed, fighting my drowsiness, and closed the curtains. I did my best not to look outside, toward the treetops, toward the taiga forest, which seemingly drew closer and closer. Of course, it was just a visual effect from the shadows of branches scraping the snow. Tosha, Mom thinks I made the owl up, and Dad too thinks I'm a liar since I'm small. But the owl exists. Honestly it does. You do believe me, right? That it comes every night and... I swiftly grabbed Oya's hand and looked her in the eyes. The owl? Yeah. She's been seeing an owl outside her window every night. Me right now. Are you scared, Agent? Do you want to hold hands? Nope. I was trying to transfer at least some of my courage and determination. But did I really have those qualities? Yes, I believe you, alright? Just don't nag our parents about it anymore. They're already dealing with a lot, so they'll just get mad at you. Come and tell me if anything happens. And don't look out the window. But it wants me to look! Doesn't matter. Act like it doesn't exist and never existed, like it's made up, just like Mom and Dad said. It'll get tired of waiting and fly away. That sudden transition. A paw. Giving pause. We followed Peter Pan's adventures as if nothing had happened, as if the forest didn't kidnap kids, as if our parents weren't tearing each other apart bit by bit. Captain Hook was running away from a crocodile and Captain Pan was headed to London on a glided sailboat. By some miracle, I lasted longer than my little sister. Oya's eyelids had dropped. She started snorting lightly, resting her chin on the side of the bed. I stood up and left Oya's room. I was looking out the window, studying the field, when Mom peeks into my room. Enough playing around. It's your first day at school tomorrow. Go to bed. You should sleep properly. You don't want to be teased for being sleepy, right? Okay, Mom. Adults think everything is so simple. As if sound sleep would ensure my classmates would like me. I covered myself with a blanket up to my neck and listened to the house humming, to something invisible rustling in the corners. My inner voice had a question for me. Do I want to hear that mysterious flute again? Yes or no? Maybe it's just a part of growing up and I can't fully understand my own desires. The forest wailed behind the barrier that was my walls. Some ethereal entity wandered the fields. Branches shook as if calling for me. The wind howled on and on in the night. My thoughts were like annoying flies that entered my head before becoming weak and tangled. I didn't notice how I fell into slumber. It has come, after all. The day I feared the most. The first day of a new school term. It's new school term. It's episode 2. Host Paul and Syun. Yes, I need comfort and it's dark in my room. Hello, Eternal. It is a spooky story. School term is scary. Listen, he got bullied in his previous school. Okay? It's not like he wanted to be scared of school. But he got bullied. He got bullied at his previous school. No, not bullied by ghosts, but bullied by something. Also, I know you just came, but it's 10. I have to wake up at 7 tomorrow because I have to go to the office to work. So, sadly, it's a very, very short stream, but I'm gonna have to end because I still haven't packed my bag for school. For school? Oh my god, I'm going to school. No, I need to go back. I need to pack my bag for work tomorrow. I'm gonna save this. We're gonna continue this some other day. Most probably tomorrow, honestly, because my office is kind of weird. It's like you have to go back to work on Tuesday, Wednesday, and Friday. So tomorrow I have to go back, and then Thursday is work from home, and then Friday is Good Friday, so there's no work, right? I think. So yeah, so probably I'll continue this tomorrow. Continue reading. Since Thursday I can tell you yes. Yes. Just today I wanted to do a short stream so that, you know, I can take my mind off of the fact that I have to stop being a hermit. Literally. Which is why I decided to stream. And also because I wanted to play this game. I've been wanting to play this game for a while that I haven't been able to. Alright, let's read somebody. Let's read my daughter. She's playing FF14. Let's read my daughter. It's a date for Thursday. Gotcha. Let's read Shikise. Thank you guys for joining me in my reading stream, where I try my best to read. I can't even speak well. Okay. And I'm gonna hopefully fall asleep fast after I go to bed, after I pack my bag, that is, and prepare everything before I wake up for work tomorrow. So thank you guys for coming and joining me. And I will cry about the fact that I have to not the fact that I have to go to sleep early, but rather the fact that I have to wake up at 7 AM instead of 9 AM now. That's like 2 hours less of sleep, okay? Alright. Bye-bye, guys. Bye-bye. Good night. Have a good night. Join me in the mornings. I have to go to work. It doesn't work that way. I have to go to work. I have to go to work. Okay. Bye, guys. Good night. Rest well. Have a good night ahead of you. Bye bye.